Our project title is Concurrency and Parallel Processing in Node.Js, and this theory is proposed by myself, Divya, and Kishore and Mukund. The short description about this project: it is a website which works in Node.js and uses NoSQL database to fetch the data and view it in responsive frontend, which is completely made using the EJS templating. They can Now you can see this is our login page, which is completely responsive and uses bootstrap classes.
So this is our admin new page which will add new to the user database, and this is updated. This page is used to update the mocks for the student who have scored, and it will save the entity of ID and mocks and grades and course code into the database, which we can make. This is the student homepage, which will show the student name, student ID, and everything about the student. And the student mark is to view the student marks that is saved in the database. So we are starting the server again and going to the login page. So with the TTS ID, the admin login. Firstly, we are doing the admin login. In this, we are giving a wrong password. That's why we are getting the value as unauthorized. And again, we're going to do TTS and login page, and we are giving the correct password, which will go to the login correct page, and it will show two buttons as create new record and update mocks. In the create new record, we can create a new student database, and it will save into the data server. So firstly, we are giving the name as Kishore, which is the student name, and the register number. Register number is it's not important, but it's needed. So VT number is the identity number, which will be used for the login ID of the student, and the password we are creating from the server side can be admin side can be used by the student. So we are giving a basic password and email address we're giving, and here. So with this, we are creating a new record, and after clicking this button, it will redirect to the home page of the admin and update mocks. In this update mocks, we have to update the mocks of the student. First, we have to give the identity number of the student. This is again the username of the student and the course code of the subjects. So that's all. So this website is completely based on the bootstrap classes. That's why everything in this website looks bit odd, and it's completely responsive. Even though we using mobile phone, it will be responsive and everything will look familiar. So we are entering the course code and grades for different courses and different subjects for the same student. After entering all the course code and grade, we are updating the students' mocks and everything into the database. So once the updated, we can log in. We can go to the login page to check whether the saved student ID is valid or not. So what we give is VTU W1526 as our ID. So now again, for checking purpose, we are giving the password again wrongly. So as you can see the unauthorized. Again, we are entering the correct password now. Once the correct password is entered, it will hit the route from the database, and it will show the students information. So ID, name, register number, and year of study. In this identity number, we have to give the students which student we have to see the result. We have to enter in that. So after entering, we can see the result. So this is our database. As you can see in the student database, it's loading now. So as you can see, so here the values which we entered in the page are stored in the database, and you can see there is no password because the password values are hashed. For the security purposes, the password values are hashed. So in the result database, you can view the results which are entered in the HTML page. It will be stored inside the NoSQL database, so which is MongoDB. So 11526 the ID, and all the results we have entered are correctly stored into the database.
So this is a RESTful backend API. What the first file contains are HTTP status codes, where each HTTP codes is navigated to appropriate responses. Here you can see all type of HTTP codes. And next is our string constants. All the files have been put separately, so all the string constants for all the condition are put here, and which is fetched later on. So this auth controller file, I'll come to that at the end. Database config.js. This file consists our database connectivity strategy, which gets the username, password, and all the credentials from our environment variables. And this is our connection strategy that was created by MongoDB itself, and that we use. So student schema. This schema is the defined. So this student JS file contains our object-oriented schema for our result collection. So this one is responsible for all the collection that has been stored in the result database. And user as collection of all the user. This defines the characteristics of each and every student or user that is going to use our web application. So the other files are the views files and the public files. Public file has all our CSS, JavaScript, and images that are simply the assets of the websites that will be fetched from this folder and whenever that is necessary inside our application. And next, coming on to the routes. This index.js file contains all the routes that are being used by our application, and also invalidates the routes that are not present in the website, and which shows error message accordingly. And coming on to the main file, that is the app.js. This file forms the backbone for all the other files, which connects everything and which initiates the website and which starts it running. And environment variables contains all our credentials. And auth controller. This file has our business strategy and has all the functions that is necessary to make each and every process in the website running, and each and every feature makes it possible. So basically we use everything in an asynchronous format, where since there is asynchronous, the threads have been handled perfectly, and the user waiting period is comparatively less. For example, when the student logs in, at the time of login itself, the result will be pre-fetched and will be waiting to show. So once the user clicks on the button just by a tap, and the result is already been fetched, and now it is ready to be displayed. So basically this file contains everything that is necessary, and all the strategies and all the main code that makes each and every functionality of the website happening and makes it running peacefully and perfectly. So coming back to the backend database part. So for the database, we are using MongoDB, and that MongoDB instance is created using an Amazon Web Services EC2 client, that is Elastic Computing, where for data storage it uses EBS, which in turn means Elastic Block Storage. So making it into AWS makes this application even more stable, durable, and also clutter free. So this is our project in overall detailed explanation.